They descended through Earth's atmosphere in silence, their ship cloaked from every primitive sensor humanity once used. The scout team, 10 elite Elysians, biologically enhanced and armed with technology thousands of years beyond Earth's last war, touched down in what was once known as the Amazon. The dense jungle had retaken what civilization had briefly claimed, strangling metal ruins beneath green coils and mist. No immediate heat signatures. No life above insect level. No EM signals, no kinetic disturbances. The squad's lead, Command Overseer Velen, relayed the standard deployment code to the orbital cruiser before cutting comms. Even this far from galactic centers, protocol remained. Velen's helmet filtered out humidity, scanning every inch of the vine-choked ruin with real-time mapping overlays. The fallen human outpost, a stone and metal shell, swallowed by moss and root, was deemed irrelevant by Central Intelligence. The mission was reclamation, documentation, and if necessary, extermination. Velen's second-in-command chuckled as he stepped through the remnants of a rusted barricade. "They called these rifles," he said, kicking over a corroded M4 carbine. "Firing tiny metal slugs at subsonic speeds. How did they ever hope to conquer space with this nonsense?" "They didn't," another answered, scanning a half-sunken weapons crate filled with brittle magazines. "They tried to conquer each other first. Brought extinction on themselves." Predictable. Their boots left no tracks, anti-pressure soles adapted automatically. Their suits regulated temperature, repelled bacterial contamination, and allowed full-spectrum vision, from ultraviolet to thermal bleed. Every scout carried a plasma rifle calibrated for intelligent tissue patterns. One soldier uploaded a virus into the half-dead computer terminal inside the bunker's remains, harvesting a few decayed digital logs in a forgotten language. "Chemical propulsion," one scoffed, holding up a warped bullet casing. "No internal guidance, no smart metal, no plasma weave. Just fire and lead. Brutal. Crude." Velen nodded absently, absorbing the terrain. His visor flickered, briefly losing signal. He adjusted the resonance bandwidth. Ambient interference, perhaps solar flare scatter off the ionosphere. "Proceed east," he commanded. "Grid formation. Sweep pattern Theta 9. No one challenged him. Elysians didn't question. They executed. They moved deeper into the jungle, 10 strong. The canopy swallowed all light above them. The deeper they went, the quieter it grew. Even insects ceased their chatter. Velen's HUD showed clean scans. No movement. No heat. No acoustic deviations. Still, the unease crept. At 400 meters from the insertion point, one scout stopped. "I heard." The word cut short. A sharp, wet snap. A hiss of air. And the scout fell. No scream, no warning. Just a lifeless body hitting dirt. The squad froze. Velen's systems surged with alerts. No detected shot. No flash signature. No energy spike. He zoomed in. One clean hole through the scout's head plate. Not cauterized. Punctured. The internal systems showed neural termination on impact. "Sniper," Velen said flatly. "Projectile-based. Firing from cover. Primitive weapon. 1 kill. Direction?" someone asked. He scanned. Nothing. No echo pattern. The jungle offered no angles. The shot could have come from anywhere. The canopy distorted acoustics, and no one heard a second round. No vibration. No muzzle wave. "Spread wide," Velen ordered. "Staggered formation. AI sync. Return fire on visual contact." The squad obeyed, shifting smoothly into a reactive fan-out, each soldier's suit coordinating position through entangled positioning relays. Velen activated thermal burst mapping. Heat pulses swept through the brush, looking for a shape, even residual warmth. Nothing. One scout advanced 10 meters, pausing near a half-fallen tree. A crack, barely louder than a branch breaking. The scout collapsed. Another shot. Same precision. No energy flare. No drone detection. "Target utilizing kinetic ammunition," Velen growled. Ballistics at high velocity. Extreme range. His threat matrix flickered again, readings jumping, resetting, null. Something was jamming them, but with no signal. Analog interference? Not possible. Not in this age. He recalculated. Firing angle suggests elevation. Possible treetop or high ridge. A third shot rang. Another soldier fell, this time mid-sprint. His momentum dragged him through the mud before his armor locked in a death freeze. 3 confirmed down. Visual 0. Counteroffensive ineffective. Came the tactical AI's cold assessment. The jungle swallowed every sound again. No birds. No wind. Just the realization that a single man, with a century-old weapon, had dismantled 30 million credits worth of galactic infantry without being seen once. Keep moving, Velen said, more to keep his team from shattering than for tactical gain. No one spoke. Even the ones who mocked now understood. Something old had survived on Earth. And it had a rifle. Branches cracked under the footfalls of soldiers who no longer mocked what they faced. Their staggered formation moved with cautious precision through the overgrown path, weapons raised, sensors on maximum. Every few meters, they stopped, rotated, scanned. Still no movement. Still no signature. The jungle watched. 7 remained. Velen counted steps and heartbeats, listening for the next shot. The silence grew unnatural. The temperature readings flattened, no local life, not even insects. They were alone, but not unobserved. A dull pop. One more dropped. The shot was impossibly fast. The moment the scout shifted slightly out of cover, the round had already passed through the air, pierced his visor, and buried itself in his brain. The sound arrived half a second later. No one could identify the direction. The jungle's thick walls scattered echoes until the origin became meaningless. Telemetry glitched. AI targeting rerouted. The predictive movement matrix halted mid-loop. No known system could trace the path of the projectile. 6 left. And now no one spoke. A tech specialist fired a blind plasma burst in all directions. The air sizzled. Leaves vaporized. Trees split. No target. No scream. No return fire. Just another moment of stillness. Velen dropped to one knee and deployed a scout orb. The sphere hovered and began rapid angle sweeping. 30-degree spirals, edge rim scanning. It transmitted clean. Then it stuttered. Data flickered. Its HUD suddenly displayed a forest of ghost signatures, dozens of human silhouettes, before the feed cut to black. The orb hit the ground. A second later, its casing opened. A single bullet had entered directly through its central optic, disabling the core. Velen stood without a word. 5 remained. A private broke ranks and shouted into the trees. "Face us! Come out! You coward primitive!" His voice cracked mid-sentence as a round hit center chest. The armor cracked. The impact bent him backward, gasping, trying to scream through blood. 4. No system detected the shot. Not visual. Not auditory. Not magnetic. Nothing. The soldier beside him stepped back and activated a full area pulse. An electromagnetic sweep shattered leaves, scrambled neural implants, but offered nothing in return. The jungle absorbed it like sand swallows water. They dropped into staggered perimeter mode, standing back to back. Tension rose. Every tree looked like a figure. Every rustle could be the last thing heard. Analysis, Velen whispered. The suit AI processed. Threat level Alpha. Unknown sniper. Estimated caliber, .338 to .50. Likely bolt action. Estimated range, 1,200 to 1,500 meters. Target demonstrates near invisible positioning. 0 visible emissions. How is he avoiding thermal trace? Insufficient data. Hypothesis, environmental camouflage, non-electric systems, limited exposure. Probability of survival? Dropping. A tree cracked in the distance. The commander flinched. Nothing came. One of the soldiers glanced upward instinctively, and that was enough. The fifth shot came through the eye socket. 3. Velen's breathing slowed. Every exhale was controlled. Panic didn't belong here, but instinct began overriding protocol. Every tactic assumed the enemy would miss. This one didn't. He initiated fallback sequencing. No shame in withdrawal. He uploaded coordinates for evac. Denied. HQ wanted confirmation. Wanted a target ID. The Council did not approve exfil based on ballistic weapon harassment. He cut the feed. The remaining scouts pushed deeper. No trails, no sound, just jagged movements from cover to cover. They switched to short burst movement, dashing 10 meters at a time behind large foliage. No fire was returned. No indication they were being tracked. Then, mid-sprint, the third-to-last soldier dropped midair. The round had entered below the shoulder and exited near the spine. Death was immediate. 2. The last two paused behind a stone outcropping, panting, blood pumping audibly through enhanced arteries. Velen blinked rapidly to access historical weapon profiles. Cross-checked the hole diameters. The rifling pattern. Impact spread? The AI matched it, Earth-made, manually operated, single-fire bolt-action rifle. Likely scope-assisted. Likely suppressed. The other scout whispered, "He's not just a shooter. He's choosing when. Where. Who." Velen nodded once. Then another hit. The last man besides him collapsed. One eye open, disbelief still etched in skin. Velen didn't move. Not for 10 minutes. He slowed his breathing. Calculated terrain angles. He was being watched, no doubt. A small glint caught his eye. A brass casing, 30 meters ahead, balanced delicately on a fallen log. Clean. Placed. Not discarded. A message. He approached it slowly. No shot. He picked it up. No detonation. It was engraved. In perfect Elysian script, asterisk. Next one won't miss. Asterisk. He didn't report back. Just turned, alone, and began to walk the other way. The air clung to him like a second skin, hot and wet, thick with the scent of soil and chlorophyll. Every motion was calculated. Every breath a measured decision. He didn't move through the jungle. He dissolved into it. His ghillie suit, stitched by hand from local vegetation and treated fabric, bore no synthetic signature. The mud beneath his skin cancelled thermal bleed. His heart rate stayed below 60. His breath was shallow, nostrils flaring just enough to take in air. The sniper spot had been scouted 3 days earlier. He had not moved more than inches since the first shot. Each round was loaded manually. Custom hand loads. Polished brass. Primers tuned for consistency. Powder measured to the decimal. No electronics. No auto-aim. Just gravity, air pressure, and geometry. He watched from cover as the remaining commander stumbled past the outer perimeter he'd set days ago. The alien officer was jumpy, erratic in motion, no longer operating from discipline. His optics scanned aimlessly, his weapon darting from sound to shadow. No pattern. No control. No composure. The sniper noted the staggering gait. Left knee strained. Armor flexed improperly. Likely favoring an injury from earlier shrapnel or exhaustion. He logged it without judgment. A drone passed overhead. The sniper didn't flinch. Its sensors swept infrared, magnetic, sound signatures. He exhaled just before the scan passed. His exhalation misted briefly against the moss, diffused into meaningless static. The drone moved on. Seconds later, a suppressed shot dropped it from the sky, its camera shattered. One more soundless threat removed. He began marking pressure zones with tight filament, near invisible strings tied between roots. Primitive. Effective. Anything walking into them would rustle leaves, make sound, or fall. The sniper didn't rely on motion detection or AI assistance. He used vibrations in the soil, shifts in insect activity, bird flight patterns. The forest was never silent without reason. Every break in that rhythm told him where to focus. He retrieved a spent casing he had planted earlier near the log. Another had been taken, as expected. That alien had understood the message. Others wouldn't. He shifted to a new position 50 meters south using a belly crawl that lasted 20 minutes. His new location overlooked a clearing the scouts might use to regroup. No heat signatures yet, but they would come. They always did. Predictability was universal. A faint signal, barely audible. Radio traffic, alien dialect. He filtered it through a passive analog interpreter wired directly into his ear. The last two remaining troops had split up, bad tactic. They were trying to triangulate. Flanking a ghost. He dialed his scope to adjust for elevation. Wind minimal. No rain. Good shooting weather. Through the lens, he spotted movement. One of them had doubled back and was attempting to climb a higher vantage point on an old comms tower frame. Clever. Desperate. He allowed the climb. It would reveal nothing. That frame hadn't held a working signal in decades. But it offered the illusion of control. The sniper adjusted elevation 0.3 mils, held breath, and fired. The round struck center mass, just below the sternum, where armor met harness. The alien tumbled off the tower in complete silence. He didn't watch the fall. No need. The final scout had triggered a tripwire filament. The sniper heard it, barely a hiss in the stillness. He counted 7 seconds. The soldier moved fast, scanning wildly. The sniper watched his boots first, then his weapon's sweep range, then his helmet orientation. He tracked where the barrel moved, stayed outside its arc. He waited for the moment the alien committed too hard to a leftward pivot, overextension. He took the shot. Helmet struck at the edge. It didn't penetrate but spun the soldier violently. The weapon dropped. The soldier scrambled behind cover, bleeding but not dead. Intentional. He let him live. On purpose. The sniper whispered into the passive mic, knowing the alien would hear through fractured systems. "You're not prey. You're the messenger." No further words. Just silence. The sniper melted into the canopy once again, body low, motionless. He left behind no scent, no footprints, no impulse. Only blood and a lasting warning. He had not revealed his name. No unit patch. No insignia. No motive. Just precision. The jungle had chosen its guardian. And he needed no recognition. The survivor's breathing was shallow, uneven. Blood trickled from the temple where the impact had cracked his visor. Systems flickered inside his helmet, targeting offline, HUD ghosting, internal telemetry locked in error. His comms transmitted static. He staggered through the undergrowth, unable to call for help, unwilling to stop. His training whispered protocol. Fall back, regroup, reassess. But protocol belonged to operations with logic. This was something else entirely. The jungle no longer felt like terrain. It felt like a mind watching, learning. Every rustle, every falling leaf, every movement behind his shoulder echoed louder than his pulse. He passed remnants of his squad, armor twisted, visors shattered, limbs bent backward from kinetic trauma. None of them had screamed. The shots had been too precise, too fast. Every corpse marked with a surgical kill. No rage, no cruelty. Just efficiency. He climbed a small ridge, boots slipping in moss. His left shoulder refused to lift his rifle fully. The impact had bruised muscle and bone. Vision tunneled. But stopping meant waiting. Waiting meant dying. He crouched beneath a tree, listening. His helmet's audio pickups caught nothing. Not wind. Not insects. Not breathing. It was worse than noise. It was absence. The image of the sniper burned into his mind, not because he had seen the man, but because he hadn't. No profile. No outline. Just a phantom who saw everything, struck without pattern, and left only silence behind. He activated the emergency distress beacon embedded in his wrist. It pulsed once. No confirmation. He tried again. Still nothing. The satellite net had been jammed, or worse, bypassed altogether. A cold realization formed. This wasn't a one-man ambush. This was a campaign. He stumbled toward the old ruins again, hoping to find cover, maybe something useful. Inside, old human gear sat like fossils, helmets, packs, rusted tools, and degraded electronics. But among them, something new. A pile of leaves that hadn't been there before. On it, a single bullet casing polished. Resting atop it, a piece of alloy plating from his unit's drone, cleanly sliced through. No message this time. Just the object itself. His breath caught. The sniper had been here, moments ago. Watching. Letting him see. He turned fast, weapon raised, senses peaked. Nothing. Then a soft crunch. He spun. A figure stood at the edge of the ruin. Only for a moment. Covered in foliage. Not armor, nature. Shadows clung to him like fabric. Face obscured. Still. Silent. Then gone. The scout emptied a plasma burst in the direction. Vines hissed. Stone cracked. But nothing returned. Panic surged. He dropped his weapon. It clattered on stone. He reached into his chest plate and pulled the backup communicator, analog fallback, reserved for extreme isolation. A voice came through. Not from comms, through his helmet's internal speaker. "You've seen enough." The sniper hadn't followed. He hadn't chased. He had allowed this. The message wasn't about threat. It was about proof. A statement made without killing. Victory by restraint. He fell to his knees. His mind fractured under the weight of it. His kind had believed Earth was done. A ruin of old warfare, its inhabitants wiped out or absorbed by the greater galactic systems. This mission was meant to confirm final status, secure remaining artifacts, and close the book. But Earth had answered. Not with fleets or signals. Not with diplomats. With one man. One rifle. He activated autorecord. His words trembled as he spoke into the system. Contact confirmed. Hostile is terrestrial human. Estimated lone operator. Weapon, kinetic-based precision rifle. Combat effectiveness, absolute. Recommend reclassification of Earth as Red Zone engagement hazard. Repeat, Red Zone. Extreme threat to high-tech infantry. Threat operates independent of modern systems. Avoidance advised. He stood slowly, retrieving his dropped rifle, not as a weapon but as a crutch. Every direction felt unsafe. Every step forward a permission granted. Behind him, another casing gleamed faintly in the dirt. He didn't touch it. He just walked. Each step echoed the understanding that something ancient had been left untouched for a reason. And that reason had a name none of them would ever learn. He emerged from the jungle 12 hours later, dehydrated, limping, skin pale from blood loss and adrenaline fatigue. A recovery vessel hovered above the tree line, triggered by the fail-safe beacon in his implant. The crew brought him aboard without questions. He collapsed mid-sentence. Medical tech stabilized him. The commanding officer demanded a report. He gave none. Not at first. Not until his cognitive systems cleared. Not until he could form a complete picture of what he had escaped. When he finally spoke, his words were fragmented, delivered like data packets forced through static. No one believed him. A lone human. No support. No drones. No satellites. Just a rifle and terrain. It contradicted every expectation. Earth was indexed as Class C primitive, inhabitable, dormant, unpopulated. The scout team had been considered overqualified for the mission. The assumption had never been questioned. The transcript of his debrief ran only 2 pages. He described the engagements, the precision, the control. He spoke of the lack of retaliation, the absence of panic. He emphasized that no heat signature had been visible at any point. Every casualty had been executed cleanly, at unknown range, without energy emissions. He detailed the bullet casing engraved in their own language, left intentionally. The tribunal read the account in silence. No one challenged the details. They reviewed helmet recordings, telemetry files, weapon logs, all corrupted, partial, missing crucial seconds. Only external footage of bodies and drone wreckage remained. The pattern matched his report. But pattern alone did not satisfy them. They asked for confirmation of multiple enemies. He said there had only been one. They asked for weapon specs. He repeated manually operated. No digital assist. Scope-based. Kinetic. The chamber fell into quiet judgment. One of them asked, finally, if the encounter posed repeatable risk. He answered without hesitation. If he wanted me dead, I wouldn't be here. His gear was collected for review. His helmet dented from the ricochet. His weapon intact. The casing he had refused to touch, still unreadable by automated scans, due to a residue none of their sensors could classify. It bore no radiation, no energy. Just fingerprints. Human. The Council still hesitated. Protocol demanded escalation recommendations. He offered only one: classification of Earth as a restricted zone. No further entry. No recon attempts. No deep scans. Avoidance at all levels of contact. They dismissed the proposal. 2 days later, the casing was found missing from the evidence vault. The room had no signs of entry. No alert had been triggered. Only the surveillance feed was left, looped. Just like the drones. The commander was recalled, reassigned. Discredited quietly, officially listed as traumatized and unfit for further service. His logs were sealed. Mission status, inconclusive. But the story moved. Not through files. Through whispers. Fleet officers began murmuring about a ghost on Earth. A protector. A remnant of a war-long race who hunted from the shadows. Some said it wasn't a man but a system. An AI too old to obey protocols. Others claimed it was ceremonial, Earth's final warrior, fulfilling some ancient oath. The details didn't matter. The fear did. Recruitment units removed Earth from training simulations. Tactical briefings made no mention of the failed scout team, but high-risk operation lists quietly flagged the region. Pilots were told not to fly too low. Sensors were told not to linger over the equator too long. Unofficially, Earth had become legend. A system left behind. A battlefield no longer claimed. There was no memorial for the fallen scouts. No inquiry. No retaliation. Just silence. And stories. The last of which came from an outpost engineer who claimed to find another casing, years later, on a cargo crate meant for deep space minerals. No one could explain how it had passed inspection. It carried the same weight. Same polish. Same engraved warning. You were seen. No follow-up was filed. They never returned.